Good evening, it's meteorologist Michael Fecka. Welcome back to the 9 p.m. all-weather, all-streaming show that we do here every night during the workdays and on weekends. We stream it out to all of our streaming platforms as well as to Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So if you are joining us from either of those platforms, please feel free to leave a question or a comment down below. Hopefully I'll be able to address anything as I go through the forecast, but if not, I'll go through at the very end and see if I can address anything individually for you. But let's get started here with a look at our headlines. What are we keeping an eye on for the next several days? Well, for the rest of the night, it'll be cool and quiet. Temperatures are going to be dropping down into the mid to upper 50s, so a little bit below average for this time of year. Good night to leave those windows open, and then we're going to lead us into a beautiful weekend. We've got high pressure that's going to stick around just off to our north, so that's going to continue to supply that cooler, comfortable air for both Saturday, Sunday, and even into Monday, and the weather is going to be generally quiet with mostly sunny skies for both Saturday and Sunday, maybe a few more clouds thrown into the mix for Monday. But then it looks like our rain chances increase a little bit more towards Tuesday, Wednesday, and even into Thursday, as we do have a frontal boundary that will be moving in from the west. And that frontal boundary, while it'll bring us a chance for a few showers, most importantly is it is actually going to continue to cool us down. So temperatures, while they're comfortable now, if you're a fan of these fall-like conditions, you're going to love what I've got going for the end of next week. So stay tuned for all those details here in the weather show. But we'll start off with a look at our current conditions, a look at our setup across the U.S. We've got an area of high pressure, as I mentioned before, that's anchored off to our north. That's been supplying us with that cooler and drier air mass. And then we've also got general unsettled weather out to our west, through the mountains and even into the central plains, with even a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings through portions of Nebraska, Kansas, and even into the panhandle of Texas there. We're not expecting anything like that. That's going to remain well off to our west. As I mentioned before, this area of high pressure that's locked off to our north, that's going to keep things nice and quiet here. We did track out a very, very spot shower. I mean, there was like one, and it pushed through the Evansville area earlier this afternoon, but outside of that, everybody stayed pretty dry across the region. And looking at our high temperatures for today, we warmed all the way up into the mid to upper 80s across the region. 86 here in Evansville, nearly 90 degrees down towards Bowling Green, but up to our north, a little bit cooler there, around 77 up towards Indianapolis. Now, we've cooled off a good bit since then. We're already around 69 here in the Evansville area. Most of us are sitting in the upper 60s to lower 70, 74 in Owensboro, and around 70 there in Henderson. But it's, again, very pleasant out there because those humidities are way down. Our dew points are in that pleasant category, sitting at around 60 degrees, which is just perfectly comfortable for any summer night, especially tonight. I know the football game's going on, or at least football is starting tonight. It's a great night to be going out and enjoying that game. Right now, temperatures will continue to drop out of the 60s and into the 50s overnight tonight with mostly clear skies. And then looking ahead to your Labor Day weekend forecast, I mentioned before, plenty of sunshine for both Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures staying on the cooler side, only topping out in the lower 80s. And then a few more clouds thrown into the mix for Monday, but still a pleasant day, sitting at around 84 with partly cloudy skies. So here's tracking out everything through the rest of the night tonight. We'll stay quiet. We'll lead us into a beautiful sunny day for our Saturday. Looks like maybe a few clouds will stream in overnight Saturday into early Sunday morning, but by Sunday afternoon, skies will open up again. We'll see plenty of sunshine through the second half of the day on Sunday as well. But looking at our rain chances, again, staying dry through the holiday weekend, but that cold front will move in from the west by the middle of next week. So you can see those rain chances increase there Tuesday, Wednesday, and into Thursday. So here's a look at that frontal boundary. Now, it's still a while away. The front, at least, has been trending maybe a little bit later with its passage. So now we're maybe looking at Wednesday night into Thursday for the actual cold front, but even out ahead of that front, we'll still see that chance for a few spot showers even on Tuesday as well. But here we are on Monday. A lot of the shower activity remains well off to our south. And then as we get into Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, you'll see here some of that green popping up, showing that isolated chance for a shower or a storm. And then again, as we get into Wednesday afternoon, and then it's not until Wednesday night, overnight into early Thursday morning, that we see that front finally clear the area. Now, While that front will bring us a chance for some showers, it still looks like our Climate Prediction Center outlook for precipitation will actually remain right around normal or even slightly below. You'll see this large beigeish yellow color area right over the Ohio River Valley, indicating that's where we're expecting below normal precipitation with above average precipitation all around us from the deep south and into the mountain west. Now, looking at our August stats so far, not necessarily a good thing. We are looking at drier than normal conditions right now. We've only picked up not even 3/4 of an inch of rainfall for the entirety of August. Usually, we're sitting at around 3 inches above that. So we're around 2.18 below where we should be, but we've had a very wet year so far. So we're still in a surplus for the year as a whole by around 8.5 inches or just shy of 8.5 inches. And our temperatures so far for the month have actually tilted the scales downward. Now that we've incorporated some 70-degree days, some lower 80-degree days, our average temperatures are actually 1 degree below where they should be. So a little bit drier and a little bit cooler here as we near the end of August. And I mentioned that drier pattern sticking around with us. A lot of the United States right now dealing with some drought or abnormally dry conditions, especially across the desert Southwest. This is very typical, but it has also kind of exacerbated the ongoing wildfire issues across the West as well. So they definitely need that rain. However, looking a little bit closer here in the tri-state, the Ohio River Valley, most of us just outlooked for abnormally dry conditions. However, that can flip pretty quickly over to possibly some moderate drought. We are already seeing some areas of moderate drought across portions of southern Illinois, even far southwestern Kentucky, and even into central Kentucky. So not here in the tri-state just yet, but with this drier air mass sticking around through the weekend, and we're not really looking at any widespread soaking rain chances within the next week. I wouldn't be surprised if we started to see some more areas of drought develop across the region. So looking at the temperatures, though, a positive thing is at least it's not going to be crazy hot. We're actually looking at a cooler than average pattern setting up as we go through the end of the month of August and into the beginning of September. So here's a look at your 7-day temperature trend. I mentioned before that cold front is going to make things even cooler by the end of next week. So if you're a fan of these lower 80-degree days, I have a feeling you're going to really love when we're topping out in the 70s by the end of next week for Wednesday, Thursday, and into Friday. And then it looks like maybe we'll pop back up into the upper 70s, lower 80s by next weekend. And the dew points also remaining fairly comfortable down in that pleasant and dry category through the weekend and into Monday. And then as we get into the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday time frame, as that front moves in from the northwest, we'll see a natural spike in that humidity level, but it doesn't really get super muggy or stifling by any means. So just your typical late summer humidity there right ahead of the front, and then more of a fall feel behind that front passage. So here's a look at your 7-day forecast. Looking at your this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, plenty of sunshine, lower 80s, overnight lows dropping down into the mid to upper 50s. And then we've got that front moving in for Tuesday, Wednesday, and then maybe lingering a little bit into Thursday. But that's going to bring our temperatures down into the 70s by the end of next week. And it's also going to bring us our next best chance for at least a few scattered showers and maybe a thunderstorm. But at this point, it doesn't look like anything super widespread or impactful. So that is what we're looking at for our 7-day forecast. Let me go ahead and look at the comments real quick to see if you guys have any questions for me. I'd be happy to answer anything for you. Looks like Laura Gray says she is watching from Dawson Springs, one of our loyal viewers. Thanks for tuning in, Laura. Cheyenne says good evening to you. William says he's got a trace at Bossy Field earlier today. Ricky says he likes this weather. I'm happy you're enjoying it. I think it's a pretty agreeable weather pattern for all of us. Low humidity, temperatures in the lower 80s, plenty of sunshine. I really can't complain too much. And I think, my fall-loving friends will really enjoy the outlook for the end of next week as well, when temperatures are going to be in the 70s. So outside of a few showers and maybe a thunderstorm here and there through the middle of next week, nothing really crazy happening here on the weather side of things. So that is good news. I'll send you guys off to 14 News at 10 for all the latest news and weather headlines. Until then, everybody stay safe and have a great rest of your night.